Hello, my name is Cassie Mothwin, and this is a pre-recorded message to tell you a little bit about the stream we'll be doing today. I am streaming Galatea, which is a solo journaling game by Kaya, and it is a game that explores perfection and what it means to not be able to maintain that. It is a game with a lot of prompts that I am going into without any foreknowledge of, so I don't know anything about the prompts that are coming up. I'm playing in the dark, so to speak. That said, the author did include some content warnings that I would like to share with you before we get into this. So, this game includes things like the weight of unrealistic expectations, themes of narcissism, helplessness, despair, codependence, self-mutilation, and suicide. If you're sensitive to these themes or if you have difficulty with them, I urge you to take care of yourself now and do what you need to do. If that means you can't stay during the stream, that's okay. I want to thank you for being here. Since I don't know what lies ahead, it's difficult to give more of a description than that. I want to urge you to check out Kaya online. She's an amazing creator and was super motivational to me when I was first getting started, and still to this day is. You can find her at mirror_lock on Twitter, and she's been involved in role-playing for over 20 years and in tabletop RPGs for more than 15. She played Lillison on Curse of Strahd Twice Bitten, a 100% rules as written playthrough of D&D's Stop Gothic Horror campaign, and I was a listener and I loved her character and her acting and her abilities. In addition to Galatea, she's also written 2 Caltrop core games, including her Odyssey and Pearl and Provenance, with more stuff to come. And in her free time, she is active in theatrical LARPing communities in New York and the Bay Area. So please go give Kaya a follow and check out all of her other stuff. With that, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you as myself at the end of the stream.
My name is Giselle. Yesterday, I came to life. I was standing in a hall of marble and columns, and glittering gold chandeliers and candles, and my creator was there, looking up at me from the floor, as if he were worshipping me. He said, "I am Paul Henrik, and you are my greatest creation." I did not ask to be created or to be the greatest, but I was born as such. I quickly learned of the large and sprawling manor with hidden wings, secret corridors, and tall spiral staircases. I garnered the magic that existed in this space, untouchable by me, but lingering in the corners and like dust on the shelves. There were more statues, surprisingly lifelike, elaborate, and often without the same kind of qualities as me. They couldn't speak or talk, or even move. But I cannot leave this manor. I may only wander the halls. And I am told an elaborate party will be hosted soon, as they often are. And that is where I will be shown off. I will be displayed. I wait for that moment. I have learned what it is to be loved today, because I think I have found love in something else. It's a complicated emotion, but it is the way my Creator looks at me, takes me in, fine-tunes. I think that it is what it is like to be loved. And I think I may also know what it means to have a broken heart. He was walking me down the hall, showing me the way to the party, the route I will take. And we passed one of the many patrons who live here, who supposedly admire his work. It was Emmanuel, he said, Lord Emmanuel. And Emmanuel looked at me as if I were, I believe my Creator said trash. He said, Emmanuel, that is, that the cracks on my skin weren't a mark of someone taking creative liberties, they were the mark of someone unpracticed and too rushed. My Creator did not take well to that, and instead we went a different way. He found our encounter troubling, and I think he needed a moment to build himself back up and prove to me he's worthy of admiration. So we went to a smaller room with ribbons and large cups that he told me weren't for drinking, but they were there to showcase his championship among other artists and sculptors. One said that he had won first in an ice carving competition years and years ago. And he told me all about the tools he used to use and no longer amuses him. And then he left me alone in there and locked the door. I think I may have embarrassed him with Emmanuel. And then I heard a whisper, something soft, hidden among the shelves and in between the books, calling to me. She didn't know my name, but I could recognize a voice, someone like me who had woken up. So I found her, dusted her off, and she was kind. I told her that I'm a little frightened of what I know and what I don't, and what I might not be able to live up to. She said I should be afraid, but that if nothing else I had her. I'm gonna stay here for a little while, but I do know a secret route out should I need to leave. I hope things are better for the party. Leaving the room was easy. I only had to find another book, a different shape than the rest, and I was able to step outside and into a thin hall. It hadn't been cleaned in a while, and there were several nails in the floor from, I suppose, repairers at some point, and I stepped on several of them. But I did not feel it. I didn't even notice until I was through the secret tunnel and in another room entirely. And I think that upsets me a little. I do wish I could feel it, perhaps maybe not in the way that hurts, in the way that stepping on so many nails would.
but in a way that makes me feel more real. Anyway, I lingered in this room for a while and thought about myself. Paul Henrik told me that I am his greatest creation and I am what the world will remember him for. I don't know what that means about me and how much I must live up to what he expects. Is existing simply enough? Or must I perform greatness forever? And what happens if someone performs that better than me? I'm not sure. I think I'm familiar with the concept of death. Is that it? He found me in that little room. Came in raging in a fit. I had never seen such anger, but he was upset that the hors d'oeuvres for the party have not arrived, and neither have his fresh blocks of clay. For you see, he was going to carve and create and mold something new and perform for the other folks at the masquerade. But it hasn't arrived, and if it's not here yet, it won't come. That's what he said. So I tried to calm him, and I said, "Tell me about your skills. Where did you find them?" And he immediately laughed at me and said, "You cannot find skills. You have to make them. And you can make them easier if you have a teacher." And I watched his eyes glaze over and pause for a minute. And he turned to me and he said, "I'll show him to you." And we stepped out of that room and into another, and he showed me all of these works similar to me but different. Rougher around the edges, half-finished forms. I worked with my master for a decade or two. I lost count, carving you over and over and over, with my master bearing down my neck, constantly critiquing, constantly saying I needed to be better, be different, push further. And that is where I ended up. I ended up with you. And when he turned to me, there was something new in his eye. Not hope or interest or love. And not pride either. And then he left me again for a while. I followed him, my creator. I don't think he wanted me to do such a thing, but I couldn't help myself. I'm still learning, trying to understand. And when I saw him in a room with someone secret, I paused in the doorway. It was still cracked, and I listened. He kept calling him, the other man, Arthur, and they were having a hushed conversation. And whether or not Arthur should be there. And I could hear the pain in my creator's voice, because he did not want Arthur to be there, but Arthur wanted to be there. And while there was no obvious connection made between them, I think they may be lovers in secret. I know not why they would keep it a secret or hide in this closed room. But I decided to step away and let them have their moments. It isn't my place, I don't think. And as I was contemplating that, my creator came out of the room in a hurry, in a rush, and I had nowhere to go, and he found me standing in the hallway, surprised, shocked, afraid. And he looked at me up and down, and he said, "Get out of my way, Sapphire," and marched down the hall in a huff. I said, "I am Giselle." And he turned around, and I felt a warning in his glare, and so I was silent. But the way he looked at me did not feel safe. I went to chase after my creator because I want to understand what I am and what we're doing and why he is angry with me, and I shouldn't have done that. He turned on me in such a rage. He grabbed me and he said, "You are worthless. You are nothing. I was mistaken to believe you were perfect." And I am sitting here wondering what I have done, how I could have done better. He released me and marched on, and I found my way back to that room with the other statue, the small one of just the face hidden on the shelves, and I told her what happened. And she said that she used to have a body like mine, and that all that remains is her face as a memory. I am a little ashamed that I went back to her and immediately confessed the insecurities that I have. But I am not sure what else to do. Should I have never come to life? I don't know. I was left alone most of the day today, and most of yesterday, and I was hoping that my creator would be in better spirits. He was not. He saw some rivals work, and it upset him. I am not sure if the fact that it was so bad upset him, or the fact that it exists that upset him, but he would not stop critiquing it. He said the angles were wrong, and the skin smoothing was poor, and the eyes were missing the detail, and the hair was just laziness. And I could not stop catching myself in my reflection on the frames that adorned the walls of the room we were in, wondering what he thought of me. Did my hair not look good, or lazy, my eye's not carved correctly. I'm not sure. So, he finally huffed himself out of that and then had me step up on this pedestal, and he said, "This is how you'll be displayed at the party. You must let everyone see how hard I worked on you. You must spin and twirl and pose in the right ways so that everyone can take in your beauty." But I don't know if I believed him about the beauty. So I stood on the pedestal and I spun around as I could, and I posed and I held my hands out and I tried to smile, and he came up to me and he jerked me out of the pedestal and he said, "No, you must look like you're enjoying this, that you're happy to be here, that you value me as your creator, that you wouldn't let me down, would you?" He said, "Hold your head like this, and suck in your cheeks here, and straighten your back there, and let the light fall on you this way." I didn't understand what all of these things meant, but I tried my best, and while he didn't seem wholly satisfied, he did stop critiquing me. I'm not sure if it's a sign that he gave up or that I finally understood. More work to do to prepare for my debut, I suppose. Always work. I think my creator wanted me to come to life, but I think he wasn't sure what to do with me when I did. He wasn't sure what to do with any of us when we did. He only wanted the admiration and the recognition for creating such a feat. But I don't think he stopped to think about what we would do after, and I don't think he cared. Today was the masquerade, and I did as we practiced. I stepped up on the pedestal and I let the light hit me in the way he suggested, and the partygoers came and admired me in all the glittering gold, and the firelight and the music of the string instruments. It was an amazing event, if not for the feelings of being so alone. Afterwards, I was led off the pedestal by my creator, but when I asked him how I did and if I did well, he said that I remind him too much of the hardships he's had in his past, and that I should stay out of sight the rest of the evening. So I did. I made my way through the back rooms, through the curtains, away from the crowd. And on the way, I couldn't stop fiddling with this crack on my face. And it came apart. When it fell into my hands, it was like charcoal collapsing in my fingertips. I am not made of permanent material. And should this get wet, I don't think I will remain very long. And I'm wondering if that is part of the design and not a flaw. Arthur, the lover of Paul Henrik, my creator, has been following me through this manor. I didn't notice at first. I thought perhaps we were heading in the same directions. But no, around every corner he leans. Through doors he peeks. I am nervous by this. I think he could be jealous of all the time I've been spending with my creator. But he shouldn't be. My creator does not see anything in me anymore. And I know he has a habit of being this way because I found something today. I found something that could undo him. I have been navigating these halls with mostly the secret passages and the corridors, and doing my best to stay out of the way of the servants and the lords and the ladies who reside here, because I do not like the way they look at me, and I don't think they like the way I walk. And I found a room that was dusty and covered in soot. But there were a lot of statues in there. A lot of them looked like me. But it wasn't that I found to be the secret, or why this room was closed off. It was the orders. My creator did not make these. He's been paying someone else. There were books and records and papers. For years. He's not made anything like me, ever. All of us. Any one of us. We are someone else's entirely. And should someone find out, all of this wealth my creator has collected is gone. I don't know how this started, or how he takes so much ownership of us, or if I even will reveal it. But it's something worth knowing. And I found a room of riches as well, gold and jewelry and so many coins and furniture. I don't know if he's made one great thing and somehow that led to this lie spiraling out of control, or if he just stole someone else's identity and continues to try to uphold it. Either way, knowing this secret does not bode well for me, and I must try to hide the fact that I know it from both him and Arthur. I don't know what will become of me. I spent a lot of time alone today, wandering the back rooms as I do, and I was thinking about ambition and what that means and what it could mean to me. And I don't have any skills other than existing. But I think ambition means to try to be the best at what you do, at what you enjoy, and at least that's what I've gathered from my creator. And I think destruction or demise, I think that's what happens when you meet your limit. When you can no longer go any further. And it's not your fault. It's the world against you. But that's it. Anyway, as I was trying to hide from Arthur and stay out of sight and remain as existent as I can, I heard Arthur and my creator arguing once more. Arthur was telling him that now that my time has passed, now that my debut has been done, I should be put out of commission. I should be finished. And my creator seemed to accept this as a way forward. And Arthur left the room, and my creator sat down at a piano, started playing a soft song, and while I am not extremely proficient in the language of emotions, it did seem as though it were a sad song. So I crept into the room, closing the door behind me. It was dark in there, so I carried a lantern, and I sat it on the piano while he played. I put a hand on his shoulder, because although he is a liar and a cheat and cruel to me, I have no one else. He shrugged away from me and stopped playing and told me to make myself scarce. So that is what I did. I picked up the lantern, let the flickering light cross him once more, and stepped out of the room, closing the door behind me. Silence from the piano made the space between us feel even wider. I think I am ready to leave this manor. It has been a week now of walking the halls, of visiting the rooms, of speaking with that poor face in the shadows on the shelf. And nothing new comes to me. I find myself wondering what my purpose is. Is it done? I have seen my maker wandering these halls as well. He had prepared for the masquerade, the party, to show me off, and while I was well accepted, I heard wasn't good enough for him. And I have seen him in his studio at work on something else. It is already a finished work, but he is adding his own touches, using his magic, doing what he feels he must, I suppose, because we are never truly finished, if I am to understand what purpose is. But I want to see the world. I want to get out. I want to make sense of my life. But even if there weren't these magical barriers holding me here, I don't think I could leave Paul Henrik. Because even though he looks at me with disdain and frustration and regret, I will always be indebted to him for bringing me to life. So maybe my purpose is trying to be better, to find that first day again, to be his greatest creation once more. Or maybe we can both be authors of the same work. Partners. Maybe.
think I keep trying to find my creator because I want him to see something new in me, something fresh. And it's because he has a profound eye for detail. Even though he is not the originator of the statues and works of art that decorate this manor, he is a collector and brilliant in many ways. And I wish he could see the fine details that make me interesting. But I'm afraid he is only seeing the things that make me broken. And it is a frustrating thought. I caught myself as I was wandering the halls. I was chewing on my fingers because my creator does that when he is thinking and really examining something. And I tried to stop myself immediately, but that didn't stop the memories coming of when he was casting magic on me to bring me to life, using his words and spells to trace symbols across my stone skin. It's unnerving to have these memories, to feel so cherished and adored and cared for, and now to feel so distant even if we are in the same room. I wandered back into that space of rich, wealthy pieces in hopes of feeling more connected to him, and there was someone else there. Another like me. She could not move her body, but she could move her mouth. And she said, "Welcome. Oh, I can smell the gold in you. He values you so much." But there was a strange quiver to her voice, a tremor of sorts, as if she were about to cry. I don't think I will talk to her again. I am eager to understand more of what goes into my creator's head. Paul Hendrick is confusing and distressing many times. So I made my way into his workshop when I knew he would be away, and went through his notes. I was reading about Sapphire, the name he had called me originally, about how he was trying something new with gems and thought it would bring a more lifelike quality to the eyes. When he burst in, found me, immediately flew into a rage, upset. Why would I betray his trust, his privacy? And I did not have a good answer. I said, "I just want to know you better. I want to know how to be better." And he picked up this easel full of trinkets and tools that he uses to fine-tune his carvings, and he threw them at the wall, and several of them stuck into this canvas piece of a face. I don't know if he painted it, but the ink flew down, black and greasy, smearing it. He turned to me again. I said, "What happened to her? What happened to Sapphire? What happened to all of them? Where are they?" And I put the desk between us so he couldn't reach me. And he said, "I broke them. I had to break them. The only way to make you was to undo them." So I stood there a moment in silence and tried to think about how fragile I am and how easily the pieces of me break off. And I wondered who was next. And so I wandered out of the room. He did not follow me. But then a few hours later, there was a new visitor at our door. His name was Emmanuel, and he was young and bright-eyed, and he requested to learn from Paul Henrik. I'm not sure what he's hoping to learn, because the hope he has now will not remain. I don't do much other than talking today and wandering and thinking and wishing I knew more than I do. When I wandered into the kitchen and then to the baths and then to the laundry and then to the game room, I was carrying a conversation I had with Paul Henrik with me. We talked about many things because I gave him too much to drink. And while in this state, he was affable and friendly and polite. And I told him that I want to leave, but that I can't because I fear for him. And he seemed to admire that in a way, but also seemed to think I was needy and clinging too tightly as well. I told him that I don't necessarily like the feeling that I am watched by everyone, and that I am worried I will disappoint him. And he asked me to think of him and how it must be for him when I am judged and looked at, how he must feel when I am criticized, because it is a blight on his honor, he says, not on mine. And after all that, I was with the servants, watching them work, wishing I could trade them places, because I cannot help them. And I followed them into a storage area where a figure was carved into the wall, and she could not leave that space. She hugged the column, permanently fixtured upon it, and marveled at me when I came upon her. She said, "Oh, you are beautiful. What are you doing here?" And I told her I'm here to be the pride of my maker and showcase his great work. And she kind of laughed at that. And we talked, because she had been stuck in this quiet place alone for so long. She wanted to know everything. So I told her. And I felt better for having told someone everything new. But then I felt worse
when I had to leave. I think that even though Paul Henrik and Arthur are extremely familiar with each other, I'm not sure they are destined to remain together. Paul Henrik drinks more and more, even without my help, and Arthur comes by less and less. Paul Henrik has started teaching that student the most absurd things about carving and sculpting. I think the student would do better at some elementary college. I cannot believe he continues to try. But I went and visited him last night. He was laying beside the indoor pool. It's a room full of marble and gloriously carved columns and these beautiful velvet-lined beds and so many plants your heart could burst. And he was just gazing at himself in the water. I was tempted to push him in, but I didn't. And instead he asked me again why I came. I said, to see you. You are my maker. Would you not seek out your maker if you could? And he turned on me in such disdain and then, honestly, just tiredness, weariness, and he said, I have sought out my maker my entire life. You are lucky to have met yours. You are lucky I even look upon you, because my maker has never looked on me. I told him he must be lonely. And he sat up then and he accused me of speaking out of turn. I said, I am lonely, Paul Henrik. There is loneliness in being the greatest thing you've ever made. And Paul laughed at that, and he said, whatever gave you that idea that you were the greatest? And I said, you did. It isn't fair that you tell me these things and then you yourself claim they're lies. And you keep trying to remake me in someone else's image, or have someone else make me instead. I saw the statues. I know what you've been doing. And he tried to step toward me, but he stumbled. His vision was blurry. He could not walk straight. And it was easy for me to step back, out of his grasp, out of his reach. He said, nothing is fair. No one is ever fair. No one will ever be fair to you or judge you fairly or understand your circumstances or where you've come from or what you've put up with or what you've paid. The sooner you learn that, the better. So I left. These conversations with him never get easier, nor do they get better, and nor do I find any resolution or hope or future. I feel so lost. I have come to terms with the fact that I do not belong to this world. It has been a year since I was born, and it has been a long time since that masquerade where I debuted and where I showed myself. I could not live up to the structures and the rigidity that exists here in this manor, that the other patrons here, they have in place, and it is important to them that they remain in place. And there are parts of me that are me that I will never be able to destroy or remove. Even if I wanted to fit in, I never could. I never will. And so I told Paul Henrik, we have not spoken in months. I sought him out. I said my goodbyes to the others like me. The lonely one in the storage room, hugging the column. The one on the shelf who just had a face. And the last, who I've only spoken to once. I wandered the halls one more time, touched the curtains, caressed a portrait of my master's face. And then I found him in his studio, staring out the window that looked at the grand yard that our manor oversaw, but that I could never visit. The sun came in such a glittering way. Gold lines filled the room. It was beautiful. He turned to me with a chisel in his hand and a hammer. I think he knew all along while I was there. And I walked forward without a word, and I set foot onto the pedestal where I first started. He came towards me without looking me in the eye, traced a hand up my leg, thigh, torso, finally to my face, where he held my chin in his palm. And he smiled. For the first time since the day I was born. And I looked down at him, and I took his hand in mine, and I said, I am ready to be your next greatest creation.